So before we get anywhere, I ask all my guests this one question. What is a truth in your industry that people do not want to admit?
There is no silver bullet or perfect solution. No matter how advanced your AI model or security tools are, vulnerabilities and the risk will always exist because systems are complex. And detecting the anomalies, but the organization has to be solid good hygiene, strong access controls, and continuous verification. Without that, even the smartest AI won't save you from the simple mistakes.
Today, I'm joined by Bhaskar Sawant, a lead engineer and AI-driven cybersecurity innovator with over 15 years of experience building and securing enterprise systems. His career started in .NET engineering and complex data platforms, but he had a realization that changed everything. Traditional firewalls and reactive security aren't going to cut it anymore. He has so he's pivoted, bringing artificial intelligence directly into cybersecurity, designing systems that don't just detect threats after the fact, but learn, adapt, and fight in real time. He's an IEEE member, senior member with multiple published papers, and a frequent speaker at conferences like Secure World and the Global Data and AI Conference. He's been on a few podcasts so far where he's earned the reputation of making deep technical ideas feel practical. His big themes are around adaptive defense, zero trust architecture, explainable AI, and responsible automation. Bhaskar, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cody, for that warm introduction.
I can't take all the credit. AI helps me do this all the time. But before we get anywhere, I have
Everybody's using the AI for everything.
pretty
I don't
much.
blame you.
So before we get anywhere, I ask all my guests this one question. What is a truth in your industry that people do not want to admit?
Okay, that's a new one. Okay, one truth that many people in AI and cybersecurity hesitate to admit is that there is no silver bullet or perfect solution. No matter how advanced your AI model or security tools are, vulnerabilities and the risk will always exist because systems are complex. Attackers keep evolving. The key is to building a resilient, adaptable architecture that assume the breach and the focus on a continuous monitoring and improvement. Founder and engineers need to embrace this mindset rather than chasing the illusion that perfect security or a flawless AI. It's about practical layer defense and responsible AI practices that make the organizations, how would I say, more stronger over the time.
So essentially, what you're saying is you need to build a hacker that's always looking for the breaches, right? Coming
You
from experience.
think like hacker, yeah.
Yeah. So can you break down what your adaptive defense network kind of looks like?
Can you just repeat your question?
Can you break down how somebody would like use adaptive defense?
Oh, adaptive defense. So basically, adaptive defense is really about continuous learning from your environment, adjusting your security control in real time. Instead of relying on fixed rules, you use the AI and analytics to detect the unusual behavior or threats as they emerge and automatically respond to them. For a founder or engineer, this means building systems that monitor everything from user activity to network traffic and then dynamically tighten the access or isolate the compromised parts without waiting for a manual intervention. It's like having a security team that never sleeps and adapt to a new attack method as soon as they appears. The key is to design your architecture so that this feedback loop is seamless and doesn't disturb normal operations.
Does that not get expensive though to run agents that are continuously monitoring your situation as well as outside attacks?
Yeah, that's a very good question actually. Means I running across the monitoring agents can add cost, definitely. But it's really about balancing the risk. The reality is that the cost of not detecting a breach early or missing a supply chain compromise can be orders magnitude higher than the monitoring expenses. Smart engineers means using the adaptive monitoring, focusing resources where the risk is higher and automating the threat detection with AI to reduce the human overhead. Again, it's about building the security into your architecture from the day one so that monitoring is efficient, scalable, and is a part of your platform, not afterthought.
Yeah.
That way, you get the practical protection without breaking the bank.
For not new corporations, like for entities that have already been built and already understand what they have, How are how do we implement a solution that works in something that they don't understand, works as something they don't understand?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, means not like only you. This is again, I said. Basically, many established organizations have this complex system that even their teams don't fully grasp anymore because they are built over the time by so many people coming out and goes out, coming in, coming out from the organization. The key is to start with building the visibility and observability into two system. Think of it's creating a detailed map before you try navigate. For AI or a security solution, you want to design them to be transparent and explainable as soon as possible so they don't feel like a black box. Practically, that means integrating the tools that provides the clear insights and actionable alerts rather than just a raw data. Engineers should focus on gradual interactive improvements than that builds the trust and understanding over the time rather than trying to overhaul everything at once with
I've
AI.
come from an engineering background in the government, and I understand we do a lot of backtracking and having to learn after the fact. And teaching these systems have become something that I have to do on a daily basis now. I'm not even coding anymore. I'm just teaching them how to do things.
Yeah.
How do you try and get people who are so adverse to using this technology to use it?
So I totally get that. When the people are resilient, it's usually because they don't see the immediate value,
Mm.
or they are worried it will show or slow them down. That's their first impression. The best way I have found is to start a small show, a small show them a quick wins that actually makes their work easier or more secure rather than overwhelming them with a full complexity and giving the whole list of things. It's about building a trust through the practical examples, not just the theory. Over a time, as they see the technology helping rather than hindering, adoption naturally goes.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons I picked it up was because I saw the immediate effects of this. As soon as ChatGPT was released, I was like, I'm not going to have a job in the same way I had before. So,
Believe me,
can
you
you?
are not alone.
Yeah. But at the same time, I also understand that we're going to have this gap between the senior and junior developers. How do we bridge that gap?
Okay. Yeah. Again, I totally get that feeling. AI like ChatGPT and can feel like game changer that disturb how we work. The key to bridging the gap between the senior and the junior developers is to focus on mentorship combined with the practical AI tools that amplify the human skill rather than replacing them. Seniors needs to guide the juniors, not just on the coding, but architecture, security, a problem solving mindset. While juniors can leverage the AI to handle the repeated accelerate learning. It's about using the AI to level up the entire team's capabilities, making everyone more productive and secure rather than seeing it as a threat to the jobs. I should say, like, people should invest, the company should invest in building that culture of continuous learning and responsible AI used to keep their key teams adaptive and resilient.
So, you said responsible AI. What does that mean to you?
Oh, that's a very good question. I get that a lot. People are still confused what exactly when we say what is exactly the responsible AI. So basically, I try to explain it very simple terms. So basically, responsible AI to me means building systems that are reliable, transparent, and accountable from the ground up. It's not just about avoiding the bias or ethical slips ups. It's about engineering the discipline, making sure you have the strong governance, privacy controls, and clear audit trails, so you can understand how decisions are made. Again, for the founders or and the builders, that means designing AI with the observability and the security baked in, not tackled on later.
Yeah.
It not should not be aftermath. It's about creating tools that empowers the people without locking them into the. You understand what I'm saying, right?
The security patterns that we're used to of where
Yeah.
nobody really understands what they're doing, but they're told what to do.
Correct.
That's one of the problems I see coming forward in the future is we don't have
Mhm.
enough digital literacy skills. and digital security. How do we teach basic security to people? Because this is a big concept. I don't know if you're going to be able to solve this here, but the big concept is people really don't understand what they're doing when they're doing it. And now, if you have an AI agent that's going to go off and do things, how do you keep that trust?
Okay. Yeah, you are right. The gap in digital literacy and the security understanding is a real challenge, especially as AI agents start taking more autonomous actions. The key is, again, to make the security concepts simple and integrated into the everyday workflow, not just a separate checklist or just a set of rules people have to memorize. No. Again, the engineers or the companies, that means designing the system where the security is baked in from the start, like zero trust principles that verify explicitly and minimize the privilege automatically, so the users don't have to be expert to stay safe. We also need to invest in a practical training that focus on a real world scenarios, helping people understand the why behind every decisions and not just how. Ultimately, empowering people is with a clear and actionable knowledge combined with a smart and secure architecture is how we close that gap.
That's very fair. The one caveat I see here is there's way too many organizations right now that don't trust their employees. How do you bridge that gap? How do you get your company or a bigger company to actually start understanding that they need their employees to invest as much as you're investing?
Yeah, very good question again. So that's a great point. Trust is definitely a challenge, especially in a large organizations where the risk surface is huge.
Mhm.
The key is to build a system that don't rely on a blind trust, but instead just use the zero trust principles, verify explicitly, and minimize the privilege. Employees can do their job securely without feeling like they are under constant suspicion. When the people see that the security is enabling their work rather than blocking it, that's more like to invest their effort and care. It's about, how I can say, it's about shifting the mindset from trust by verify to never trust, always verify, which actually empowers the employee by giving them clear and secure boundaries to operate within.
Are we going into a world that's zero trust?
If you're a podcaster or a video creator, this is the all-in-one AI video editor you've been looking for. I've been using Async since day one, and it's amazing to watch it progress into a complete powerhouse for creators. Especially for people like me who, well, can't edit for shit. Async leverages AI to give you total control over your video. You can record, edit, generate clips, add subtitles, and even dub your content in over 15 languages. Plus, it lets you upscale your footage and easily repurpose your content for different platforms, all without ever having to switch between different tools. It's truly a game changer. So if you want to streamline your workflow and make your editing process painless, check out async.com today. The link is in the description below.
I think absolutely. It means the world is moving towards the zero trust, but it's not about flipping a switch or buying a product. It's about the mindset shift where you assume a breach is inevitable. So you verify the everything explicitly and minimize access as much as possible. Again, for the companies, founders, and builders, this means designing a system from the ground up with a continuous monitoring and strict access controls, especially as AI and cloud services become more integrated. It's a practical security that baked into your architecture, not the afterthought, and it helps you build a resilient against increasingly sophisticated threats. The sooner you adopt this approach, the better positioned you will be to protect your business while scaling.
Yeah, it's one of the key things I'm trying to figure out for people here is just how, because one of the problems I had, I worked in government as a software engineer, and government is very strict on what you're supposed to do, and
Yeah,
they did not like me because I was very much pushing back against that system because I understood the threats. I understood how to make them, so I knew how to react against them. But they
yeah.
didn't like that when you're using their systems and doing that. Do you see these tools developing with people? Do you see people start having their own AIs to help them build them up as opposed to proprietary tools dragging them down?
Okay. I think yes. Um, I see a trend towards individual and small teams having their own AI systems tailored to their specific needs, especially in engineering and security. That's what we are doing in our organization, actually. The key is that these tools should empower the people to build the smarter and safer systems without being locked into the rigid or proprietary platforms. When you control your AI environment, you can adapt quickly to emerging threats and innovate without waiting for any approvals from any. For this means investing in open and customized AI framework that integrate with your workflow and security practices, giving you the leverage rather than constraint. It's about again shifting from being passive user of tools to active architect of your own secure intelligence system.
Yeah. In a perfect world, but well before AI came out, what would the perfect user look like?
Oh, okay. I must say you have all the unique questions.
I could just go off my curiosity, so it's mostly just how I'm thinking about this situation and how to relay the most information to our audience.
Okay. Again, okay. In perfect world, before AI, the ideal user would be someone who understands the basic of security and the privacy, but doesn't have to be an expert. They would be expect system to protect them by default without adding a complexity to their experience. From the practical standpoint, this means designing a technology that's intuitive and secure from the ground up, so user can focus on their goals without worrying about abilities. Again, for the organizations, the key is to create the solutions that empowers the user while minimizing the risk rather than relying on the user to be the last line of defense. That mindset helps build trust and adoption into the long run.
For our future, do you see that becoming the reality?
Reality, okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely, means I can see that become a reality, but it's about going to take a international effort from the organization's leader to make it happen. AI and cybersecurity are evolving rapidly, but the key is integrating them fully, building systems that empower the people rather than replacing them, and embedding the security from the ground up instead of, as I said earlier, it should not be afterthought. Founders should focus on creating the architectures that are transparent, accountable, resilient, because that's what will build the trust and long-term value. The future is bright if we prioritize the responsible engineering and practical security as a fundamental principle.
Very fair. And I just want to ask this because I know I'm hearing this a lot lately, but do you think we're going to go through a period of pain?
Absolutely. I think we are in a period where the rapid pace of AI and technology adoption is exposing real challenges, especially around the security and the trust. Organization needs to recognize that with the great innovation comes a new risk, whether it's a supply chain vulnerability or ethical concern in AI. This isn't about the theoretical, it's about building the system that can handle the breach, bias, and failure gracefully. The pain comes from learning to integrate the security and responsible AI practices early, not as a afterthought. But if we learn into that discipline now, it will pay off in more resilient and trustworthy.
I really do see that pie in the sky future that we're going to have, but I do understand the reality that we as a people are not digitally savvy by default.
Yeah.
We don't teach it well enough to be able to give it that understanding, and I hope for the future that AI can help us to teach that. We're engineers. We understand the risks, we understand the systems. It's hard for us to not see how we combat them, but at our audience level, I understand that have not learned that. So I always like to just see what people's thoughts are when it comes to the bad as well. If you were to go into somebody's system today, where would you start?
I think if I were at to someone system from the security perspective, I would rather start with the basic that many overlook things like default passwords, unpatched software, and open network ports. these are often the easiest entry points because they are the low hanging fruits for the attackers. Organizations, the key is to build the security into the architecture from day one. AI can definitely help by automating the monitoring and detecting the anomalies, but the organization has to be solid, good hygiene, strong access controls, and continuous verification. Without that, even the smartest AI won't save you from the simple mistakes.
How do we do that without compromising privacy?
The key is to protect privacy by leveraging the AI to design the system with the privacy baked in from the start. This means using the techniques like a data minimization, encryption, and to that sensitive information never sits exposed. It's also important to have a clear governance and the transparency about how data is used, giving users control and visibility. Organization needs to focus on responsible AI means building a trust through accountability and making a privacy a core part of your architecture. Now it's just a normal checkbox. No. Ultimately, the privacy and utility can coexist if we are international and disciplined in how we engineer these systems.
Do you think blockchain is going to play a big part in the future?
Yeah, yes, I definitely think that blockchain definitely has interesting use cases, especially around the transparency and the temper evident record, which can be valuable in supply chain defense and identity verification. But in practice, it's not a silver bullet for every problem, and it often introduces the complexity and the performance trade-offs that organization need to weigh carefully.
Yeah.
For AI and the cybersecurity, the focus should be on how blockchain can complement the existing system to enhance the trust and the audibility rather than replacing core infrastructure. Organization should experiment with it where the immutability and decentralization truly adds value, but stay programmatic about when traditional architecture might be more efficient and secure. Okay.
The reason I brought up blockchain is because I'm just trying to also see the so's of using it, because I saw this technology being revolutionary back in 2012. I read the white paper, the Bitcoin white paper. I saw instantly how that was going to change digital asset ownership, not only from a level of cryptocurrencies, that's all fine and dandy, but just from a digital infrastructure of ownership, privacy, verification. These are all systems that got swept under the rug. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
sorry audience, I'm trying to seed those sows into your brain to start leveraging this technology that actually can help.
Mm.
And software engineers understand the tech but can never really elaborate how. So that's why I wanted to ask. So we're just coming up to the end here, and I just want to ask one final question. Do you have any advice for the average user out there, what they can do to really start to understand these tools?
Yeah, absolutely. For blockchain is like
You can go
absolutely
into
the
it's
key.
okay if you want to go into AI, it's okay.
Yeah, so basically, it start with basics and build from there. Don't get overwhelmed with noise around it. Just focus on how we use the AI in your everyday work and how to improve your existing functionality. When integrated AI, especially in a security and in enterprise system, you have to think about how it fits into your existing architecture and workflow without creating a new dependencies or blind spot. Responsible AI means building in transparency, monitoring, and accountability from day one. So you can trust what the system is doing and catch the issues early.
Accountability needs to be baked into every system now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I appreciate the sentiment of that, because we don't have a whole lot of accountability in this world. To everybody out there, who are you? Where can they find you? And anything you want to leave the audience with?
Yeah, I will share my website link right now. It's on the GitHub. I'm working on my actual website. But if anybody want to connect me, LinkedIn is the best place. You already have my LinkedIn ID. Otherwise, I will share that with you too. Or you can share that with your audience. But yeah, LinkedIn is the perfect way to reach to me. Yeah.
Perfect. And I'll make sure everything's in the comment or the description section down below. To everybody out there, please subscribe, comment, all that bullshit I'm supposed to tell you. And thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this and took something away. To everybody out there, stay weird.